high-risk investment. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Market opinions. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained on this video is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. Master the Markets will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information.
Hello traders, and welcome to our live trading workshop webinar today. So today we've got a lot in store for you. So what we're going to be covering first, traders, is that for those of you new joining in for the first time, we're going to be first looking at live trading potential trades. Okay, me and Gavin were just talking about it. We just did see a potential trade on gold and GBUSD. I did see on dollar yen before, but it might have lost its edge. So I will take a look at that much more in detail. And then the other thing that we'll also be looking at, traders, is also the topic for today. And topic for today is Bitcoin hits $115,000 and is going beyond that. And also, what is next after the Fed meeting that happened yesterday? Okay, so we'll be talking about that. And then the other thing is also upcoming events, especially the Elite Traders Mastermind Annual Summit. And also then we will open up the floor for Q&A as well. So this and more in this live trading session. Traders, those of you joining in for the first time, it's Steven Alpon here, founder of Master the Markets Elite Traders Conference and Traders Open Day, and I'm joined in by my really good friend, Gavin Holmes, CEO of Trade Guider. Hi, Gavin.
Terry, how are you? And welcome to you all. Sorry, my camera's not working on my brand new Surface Book. I've had to send it back for repair. It was $3.5 grand, so I'm not very happy about it. I'm on my old one, but it still works and I can still trade. But you just can't see my ugly face. But why would you want to see it? That's fine. We are talking today about the cryptos. I know some of you don't touch cryptocurrency, but there's a lot of really good SMI VSA indications that come up. Very highly manipulated market. And you know, I'm not going to get into that. If you want to read my first book, Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money, I touch on it in there. Gold is my favorite instrument right now, where I've been making most money. And there's the NASDAQ. Now, if you've been following the YouTube videos that I did last week, you're going to see a lot of things that have happened based on SMI and smart money indicators with the volume spread analysis. We'll talk about that today, and we'll go into some depth about what we're going to be showing in our course, because Tira and I have worked tirelessly over the last few months to put together a 2-day course. We're doing it in Westminster in London, right? So it's very central. And a lot of people want to network, and we're creating in that environment what I've seen past, and this happens all the time. People connect with each other, and sometimes they form their own little groups, or big groups. I mean, when I did the one in San Francisco back in 2014, you know, we had 50 people, each paying $5,000 to attend, and that was a most amazing thing, because then a lot of them, I think it was 27, formed their own little group, which I find amazing, and unbelievable. Anyway, Tira, I'm going to hand back to you, and then we'll get straight on with it. Over to you.
Traders, let's now start to take a look at some potential trades setting up. So I'm just taking a look at cable. So what we usually do, traders, is that we actually take a look at the range, right? This is one of the strategies we do. There's many other strategies, But with every strategy, as I always say, get your objective very clear, okay? The objective of this strategy that we do on Wednesdays and Thursdays when we go live stream is that this one here, right, this bar that is forming today, we look at whether it's formed this range already or not, okay? So in this case, it's done 75. ATR yesterday was about 70. So it's definitely done that. In terms of that strategy, we won't be taking a look. If you do want to take a trade based on cable, then I would say that on a lower time frame, perhaps you can take a continuation trade on that, okay? So that's not the usual strategy that we do around here. So I'll leave that as it is. It's going to take out its last stretch, a low over here, which would mean that the stretch will be to the opposite side. But it doesn't fit our rules. When it doesn't fit your rules, just sit on your hands, okay? Now, in terms of DAX, there's no right or wrong. You just got to follow a set of rules, which is got to define edge and then stick to it, okay? Because if you don't do that, then you'll be all over the place. Then you see over here, 232 is the ATR. I'm reading it from the right-hand side, this indicator that we got here, that was designed by one of our clients as well. That is 299. So it's done its range as well. Today, most of them have done their range. This one here on gold, on this particular strategy, this is about 32. We still got a 1 ATR number to go still. So maybe I'll update that on my spreadsheet here. Entry buyers. Let me just do this one, traders. Just give me a minute. So this one is no. ATR range, it hasn't, yes, it has covered, but not 1 ATR. So perhaps this is a good candidate for us. Let's see. Towards the short side is what Gavin was looking at and had shorted much earlier. So here, this one here, but what this one is showing is that this is an uptrend. Before I come to that, I want to quickly take a look at the other ones. Dollar yen, I was taking a look at it before. It's gone off now, so it's 97, it's about 80, wasn't it? It's done that, so I'll leave that as it is. We didn't get a chance on that one there. Brent, nothing yet on Brent. The only thing I can take a look at Brent is, let me see, this one is 144, isn't it? It's $1. This could be a potential, but Brent has been quite slow nowadays. Silver, on the other hand, this is 78 cents. So, and it's done yesterday's range as well, isn't it? 1 ATR. So that's that one there. Euro dollar, what is it doing? Yesterday's range 64. This has done about 68 today, the bar range. So yeah, it's done is 1 ATR. So our only candidate for today is gold. So let me start analyzing that over here. Let me update it on this table. I'll show you the table in a while. And then I'll pass it on to Gavin to take a look at a few other instruments as well. So gold on here, it's an uptrend phase one. So what we got here very unique is that at Master the Markets and Trade Guider is that we got a market structure quantified, okay? So we got what we call the smart money indicator, which quantifies what a top and a bottom is, okay? Now, by quantifying that, what happens is that, how is that useful for traders like you, is when you understand what we've done here and the structure what we've created, all that you really need to do is just selection. Which of these dots do you want to trade? And that's when you use your knowledge of price and volume analysis, okay? So that's what we have done over here. So over here at the moment, this is an uptrend at the moment because of the quantified structure what we got here. It's all coded. So it tells you that because this current high is higher than that and the lows are higher. So it's a higher high and a higher low, okay? So now that's on a daily time frame. Okay, but as you can see, the swing is quite overextended. And not only do we just say subjectively, but if you take a look at this confirmation bar over here and where it's at, you can see it's quite overstretched and nothing can move in a straight line forever. Is it not, traders? Yeah, because markets move in cycles. Now, we talk more about that in 7 Steps to CTP. I'll give you the reference links very shortly because most of you are pressing me towards that. Some of these terminologies you don't understand. How do I understand it? We'll give you the links all very shortly. Now, in terms of the 4-hour, at the moment, you can see it's just taken out this high. So I'll follow that, but there's a bit of noise in here, okay? You can see the compression phases here, isn't it? So in terms of this, what I really got is an uptrend phase 1. I will still write that down. Quite a lot of compression, okay? Okay, so I've got that one there. I'll show you the table as well, what we usually look at. And then we got the 1-hour time frame. So this is the good thing when you've quantified your tops and bottoms. And I'm going to put the volume on top very shortly. Now you see over here is downtrend phase 1 at the moment, okay, on gold. And then on the 15-minute, let's take a look what's going on the 15-minute. It's also a downtrend phase 1. So 2 of the lower time frames are pointing to the downside. Now, in terms of the stretch principles, let's take a look over here. In terms of the stretch principles over here, let me take a look over here. Perhaps, I think this one's a bit confused on this one. Let me do this. Let me delete this one, and then let me put the stretch indicator on top. That again, you know what, interesting enough, traders, that was actually coded by one of our traders as well, okay? We've got a great community here, both Trade Guide and Master the Markets, where the community itself uplifts the community, okay? That's what we got. So there we go. I've got that loaded up here. I've got a downtrend here. You can see that right now. And over here, I've got the upper stretch as well as the lower stretch. So I got both, isn't it? So which one got taken out? It's quite a bit messy here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the last one is touching right now is the lower stretch, right? So both, but latest is low, okay? I'll just do that. This is low. Right, latest is low, okay? I'll just do that. I'll show you guys this table very shortly. The latest is low, right? And we will show the same. You see, what we're doing over here, the analysis and the principles, right? You can do it at any time of the day and on any instrument. This is the power of it. Okay, that's why we teach in terms of principles. Now, in terms of range lines, which one has it taken out? Because range lines are quite powerful. We can see that this one is 1400. Okay, so we are taking a look at the 12 o'clock one over here, and that one there, and then the last one is the 8 a.m. one as well. Okay, so here, so what we got, so this one here, and I've got this as well. Okay, up to 8 a.m., isn't it? Yeah, so we got both. So what is the latest one that is taken out in terms of the range lines? It's the upper range line. What is taken out latest is upper range line is what we have. It has taken out. Bro to ST ratio at the moment is towards the downside. I can see it from here. The ratio itself, that's fine. So we will put that to the downside as well. And previous daily high and previous daily low is taken out the previous daily low as well. So I will do that as well. There we go. So I've collected all of it. So let's analyze this together. So this is the table, right? As you can see over here, that's the gold one here, right? So I put the trend first. So now some of you who I've been talking to, I always say that the reason why we look at all of these factors, right? The reason is towards forming your direction bias. Which is stronger for today, the long or the short? Okay, up or the short side. That's what we're looking at. Now, once we analyze that, the next part that we need to do is get into timing. When are we exactly going to enter? Now, all your parameters for your entry rules, okay, is towards these two objectives. One is direction bias, and the next is timing, okay? These are the two things we look at. Now, you can see that over here, in terms of the two time frames here, the daily is showing an uptrend phase one, but there's a low open equity here. And this one is a lot of compression on this side over here, okay? So still it's an uptrend, but the two lower time frames is showing towards the downside. In terms of the bar mechanics, I am seeing in terms of the stretch is towards the downside, because the latest one is towards the downside. In terms of range lines, it's giving to the upside. And then finally, we got this and this to the downside. So you can see, if you look at this, right, according to these 8 parameters, what I've got here, right, I've got 4 against 4, right? Or maybe, you know what, I've just got 5, isn't it? 3, 4, 5. 5 against 8, okay? So which of this is going to win? It's not really very clear-cut, isn't it? Some of the time when you've been following us on the live trading webinar, some of them are very clear-cut, isn't it, not traders? All the 7 parameters out of the 8 or the 8 parameters out of the 8 will all coincide and correlate, and it will all point to the short or the long side, isn't it? So on gold at the moment, it's a bit battling on in terms of uncertainty on which side for today. That's for today's objective, okay, to form the range towards this strategy objective. So then how do we then tackle this, right? The way we tackle it is, if I go towards the ratio side, I'll give it more weightage. But if I did want to get this short or long, right? So I'll just put an NA here at the moment on the bias. Then I have to use critical technical levels here to break for me to form my basis of bias, okay? So what I'll do is, in terms of technical levels that I will take a look at, either for a long or short, just for today, I will form my bias towards more to the short side because of the ratio of this bar. So according to this, if I were to take a look on the 1 hour and the 15 minute, let me form the one of the levels I will take a look at in terms of the 4 hour is this one here. Okay, so let me delete this one here, and I've got one break over there for that 4 hour bar, but it's a bit far off towards that. So that's one. Let me go down to the lower time frame here. Another break that I need to look at over here is perhaps this one here on the low of this buyer bar. The final one is on the 15 minute, okay? So let me take a look on the 15 minute, what I'll be taking a look at. And then I'll put volume on top of this as well. Is one good place to have looked at it was when it was a change in trend, okay? Which would have been around here, right? So that's why we could have taken a look at. Now, the last thing I'll take a look at in terms of gold is towards the volume side, okay? Towards the volume side, what I'll take a look at, and if I were to put in the OE numbers, $4.76, isn't it? It's done that as of now. If I were to take a look at the volume side of things, so let me bring up here, and I'll pass on to Gavin after this to see how his gold is at. Open link, there we go. And let me take a look at this one here. And when I take a look at that, I know some of you prefer candlesticks. So let me put that, maybe it's a bit more clearer for some of you. Okay, so we've got that one there. Now, in terms of the volume, as you can see, with the trade guided team, that's the whole trade to win package over there, with all the VSA light all on top of it as well. Okay, let's put the VSA Pro, which is the latest one. and then we got the all on top. You can see some over here. One is, you see, the trigger lines are formed over here, right, on this bar here, right, and some potential buying is coming in. So you see, so if you want to formulate a further selling strength over here, I would say either you can come in for the trigger line break, okay, or if you want to be a little bit more aggressive when the structure got broken at that neck over there. So I will analyze this. I'll see if we can get a bit of a retracement in 10 minutes time when the US opens. That will be a better entry point. If we don't get it, maybe we'll sit back on that. But in terms of the volume, I'm having a good volume spike over here. As I said, if it does break that low, that would be a better place to look into entering, okay? And then over here, when it did break that, there was a bit of a volume spike on that, but then the next bars closed lower. So further strengthening the downside. So I will take a look at where exactly to enter and put in the levels through the Telegram channel. Now, before I just hand over to Gavin, just a few more pointers for you guys, those of you pressing for some reference links and where to find out more about these indicators. The other thing what we got also here, traders, which I will talk about later on, is basically the stats table, okay? This will tell you how much to leave it to run, okay? It's very simple. We don't need to make it very complicated to understand. All we are doing over here, traders, is that because we have quantified the bottom and the top here, we can collate all of the swing distances over the last 10-15 years and put it into this table here. All this tells me is that if I want to leave this to run when the confirmation bar happens, the dot, to run to 180R, in this case about $4-5 in gold, that is about 54% if you take both phase ones and phase twos. But if I were to take a phase one only, okay, in which you got a filter, and all this was done by our clients, which joined us at Master the Markets. Now, if you just take a look at just phase ones only, the percentage usually will go up a little bit more, okay? And that's just populating that. You can see that that's about 65.66, near to 70%. All right, that's what it is. Now, you want to understand this a bit more in detail. What you can do is head over to 7stepstoctp, okay, .com. Over here, once you put your details in, click on the green button, "I'm not a robot," then you can get the 7 videos. Now, in the 7 videos, sent to your inbox, you can watch it at your own free time. And this will tell you what the main challenge is. It's really very systematic, and over 15 years of collated research that we put this together. And that's how we got invited to many other prestigious places like the Society of Technical Analysis. And then we got invited to IG Index to come and talk as well on the IG Studio, and a Ninja Trader as well over 11 times, okay? Through Gavin as well, who recommended us over there. And Gavin and I have presented Ninja Trader several times as well. So you can catch that all on the YouTube channel, which I'll give it to you as well. So here, if you take a look, all the 3 stats that you can get out of this is very, very powerful. People love it. And that's how we got a strong community following. And then also on how we use this towards strategy application as well. These 3 stats are very powerful. This will help you towards target. This will help you towards stop loss placements. One of the clients from Australia was telling us that, oh, you know, once I understood what MAE and where to place my stop loss, according to your quantified structure, I just got so much more confidence. I was not panicking when the trade was coming against me, right? And time 2 is a very, very powerful one as well. And then we got CO and the 3 components. So highly recommend you guys to watch 7 Steps to CTP. Even if you watched it before, you know, revisit it. And then see how we can apply it to your strategy. And this can be applied to any strategy, right? Because it's based on principles. The other thing also, traders, after I've given you all the reference links, we'll talk about Bitcoin and the Fed meeting, post-Fed meeting, what's going to happen. And Gavin has got lots of information on the news that just happened earlier on today between US and the UK as well. Now, the other thing is the 2 indicators. If you want to put them onto your screen and your charts, you can head on to this page and you can understand more about it. And then you can also get the indicators onto your charts, which will look just like that, okay? This is just triggering us at the moment, so we will take a look at that. I will see if I can put that onto the Telegram channel as well, okay? You got the YouTube channel as well over here at Master the Markets. if one thing I can give you a reference is, traders, is the stretch principle, right? Playlist. This will make you understand of some of the things I was talking about today on the bar mechanics. So take a look at that at your own free time. And also under the live section, if you missed the live section or the previous ones, if you want to go and revisit it, you can go and take a look at it on the live section. But I always say start off at 7 steps of CTP. This way you'll understand how to use the price and volume framework. Okay, so start off over here. And also there's the YouTube channel, and if you want to get notifications whenever we go live, Master the Markets or Trade Guider, hit the subscribe button and hit the all bell icon. Okay, so that's what you got to do over here. All right. Now, after that, you got your Trade Guider channel as well, youtube.com/Trade Guider. Do the same thing, subscribe and hit all. And right now we're going live over here. And as you can see, and then those of you who can't, don't have time to watch it now, you can always watch it later as well. Now, the other thing is Trade Nation, just a quick shout out to Trade Nation as well. Through them, we've got the Telegram channel, which we're able to send the signals to you just to show proof of concept of these two strong, solid principles working together. Okay. That's that one there, and a little bit about the Elite Traders Mastermind Annual Summit. I'm going to be talking a lot about that, me and Gavin, about later on what we're going to be covering in here. There's going to be a lot of live trading over here going to be happening, a lot of research updates, what we're going to help you with, and also how you can use that in your own strategy construction as well. So we'll be talking about all of that very shortly. The annual summit happens once a year. Great minds from the world will be coming here. Me and Gavin will be there. It's going to be in central London, Westminster, London, overlooking the Thames River. It's a beautiful hotel. And also, what's also going to happen is that over the 2 days, there will be lunch provided, and on the first day, there'll be dinner as well. So it'll be a great finish to the year and very inspiring and re-energizing for all of us. So it'd be really great to see most of you there. We've only got a few more places left, so it'd be really, really good to see as many of you there. I think that's pretty much what I've got. Gavin, I'm going to take a look at the gold on how it goes, and I'm going to put some trade orders in that. Over to you now. Is Gavin there? Gavin, are you there? I think you're muted, I think. Perhaps if you can unmute. Let me see what happened. I got a call over there just now. Or...
Yeah, sorry, Tira.
no problems.
I said we're not going to actually be in Westminster at all because we're AI. we are artificial. I mean, I've got to be honest. I've got a big trade on at the moment on Nvidia, and they're projecting us right now, so we don't actually exist. So that'll be really funny. But no, seriously, we are going to Westminster, and I can't wait. And I'm looking forward to it. And by the way, I'm still short gold. I told you about the trade earlier, right?
Yeah.
And it's all confirmed. Everything.
I think go for it. I think you should share your screen. You should show it to them.
Okay. Yeah. Let me put that up. If there's any questions, by the way, just put them in. I think Terry's covered a lot there. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen here, and I'll put up. That's the Nasdaq, by the way, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, good. So we'll put gold up first. Okay. Now, this is a 1 minute chart. Okay, so it's a very small time frame, but I'm going to put up the chart that I usually execute on, which is the 15-minute chart. Now, I can see everything is turning red in my time frame that I'm used, but I'm looking at the 5-minute chart here, and everything's starting to break down, and all the dots have turned red, and now we've broken this area of support. Now, there's your SMI indicators that have just come in because I've added them to the screen here. Usually I don't do that. I usually keep it, and you can see we're in here. We're using the Elite system in TradingView. And I'm going to tell you exactly where this is projected to go, and it's going to go to 3680. Okay, and it'll take an hour approximately. Now, we're going to show Bitcoin as well. I'm going to show you why I invested in Bitcoin and why Bitcoin has moved through the 115 level. And I'll tell you what it is, and it's manipulated. Of course it is. A lot of these things, gold is definitely manipulated. But I want to talk to you about different time frames here, because if you look here in our system and you look here, you can see the smaller time frame is negative. Now we're going to go out a time frame here, and we'll go to the 15-minute chart. And when we look at the 15-minute chart, we're going to see it takes time. It's already negative there, and it's failing support. So these buying signals that you're seeing are failing, which would mean that this market is weak, and it's hit this, and you're seeing it falling right now. Now we go out another time frame. We go to the 30-minute chart, which is one of Tom Williams' favorites, and this here is a very unusual bar. It closes in the middle, but everything now has turned negative in the elite program. So it sent me an email alert, and you'll watch this happening live. And this is what Tiru and I discussed earlier. So what else can we do? You know, you have to show this live, right? And I'm going to put that down to a 1-minute chart in a minute. But then we go out to a 1-hour chart, and you see this bar here, which is where we're in right now. Okay, so the alerts are triggering every 2 minutes on my smartphone. Everything's turned red. Okay, and we're in a downtrend now. Let's go out to a 4-hour chart just to show you how this works. Look at this price bar. There's the no demand bar, and there is your reversal. This is going down the toilet any minute. Now, you say, okay, I want to trade it now, Gavin. You can go to a tick chart, but we'll go back to, well, my favorite is the 3-minute chart. And as I've been talking, you can see what's going on. This support didn't hold. Just because you see this green here, it didn't turn solid green because the next bar closed lower. This is going down. Has to. And if you've got the software, you'll get, and you've got SMI, you'll see the same thing. And we're going to talk about Bitcoin in a minute, and that's why many of you are here. And I know we're broadcasting this on YouTube. The golden rules are very simple, really. SMI, smart money indicators from Master the Markets, and volume spread analysis from TradeGuider look at the most important universal laws that drive price, which is what you're seeing. Supply and demand, cause and effect, effort versus result. Very simple. Now, if I'm wrong and I'm looking at a live chart, then I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I close the trade. But very rarely has that happened. This market is about to collapse. How can I possibly know that? Because I've got 2 screens to the side of me with the SMI, which we're going to teach in Westminster, and some new indicators that we've got. And what they do is, and they're very powerful, they give alerts. So watch, because this is live. Okay, we're not doing this in hindsight. I hate that. This isn't happening right now. So let me explain a little bit about what this does and SMI together. First of all, I was doing a demo this morning, and I was showing this client who was losing money, and he just bought the software, and I said, "You're doing it all wrong. He's trying to buy the bottoms at the wrong time, and he's only using one time frame." I said, "You can't use one time frame because the markets are fractal. They move organically like a human being does. If you stood still on your feet for an hour, nothing would happen, really. Markets don't stand still. They're being traded all the time. So you have to be nimble. Now watch this next bar. It's really important. If it closes on the low next to the bar next to it, we will know that the no demand bar in the background is confirmed even stronger. Now, I can't know this because it's live. And I've been doing this for 27 years. Tiru's been doing this for many, many years as well. He comes from a medical background. I come from a police background. I was a former police officer. It doesn't make any difference what your background is. If you're going to make money in the markets, I've done pretty well. I live in Sandbanks in the south of England, which is the most expensive part of the country. Tiru lives up in London. Don't worry about the money. The money will come. It's natural if you understand, and knowledge is power. Now, we're doing this event and Tiru will cover it in Westminster. And I know that's going to sell out. And then we're going to do it online as well. And we're going to be doing live trading on the Friday. So we're not going to be doing, let's look at this in hindsight. Well, it'll be live. We don't know what's going to happen. Some days I've traded with a group. I'm doing one on Saturday. And by the way, for those of you that have signed up for the event with me, it's going to be this Saturday, and the email will go out later today. I lost my internet connection. It's come back, and it not only has it come back, it's 10 times as fast as it was. So any of you that are waiting for email from us, it will come out later. But yeah, there's a lot of people signed up for that. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I wanted to do it, and then the internet went. You are reliant here. Now watch what's going to happen. This is going to be important because the SMI is confirming it on the other screen, and you'll see it live. But the most important part is I'm already in the trade, and what we'll do, we're working with, and I haven't met the guys yet. I have the guys at Trade Nation, but we'll use their platform. I'm fine with that. And I know Tiru does, and Master the Markets do alerts from the Trade Nation platform. And I like it a lot. I think it's a great platform. So no problem with that. But I want to just talk about, I'm going to go to Bitcoin. I know I've had a couple of emails, but while I'm doing it, I'm in this trade. And so I want to show you what's going to happen. And you'll see why it's going to fall. And it's the background. Okay, and this is important. And Tiru and I talked about this morning, and he said, Gavin, we're doing this live. We're not doing what all the other educators seem to do, is showing a PowerPoint and say, well, you see, if you'd have done that and you'd have done that, you'd have made that. No. This is live. And it's live on YouTube, and it's recorded, and many of you are listening to this. I'm telling you where this is going because of the evidence. Now, you might say, it's a former police officer talking. Well, it is, because that's how I trade, evidence-based. Do I see a no demand bar in a downtrend? Right here. Does the market respond to the no demand bar? Yes, it does. Does it send me an alert? Yeah, I programmed it in. You can program it in with our system. Watch. And then I've got the SMI on the other screen here, confirming it all. And so when you look at it, you have to say to yourself, does that make sense? And that is what traders have to do. And something Tiru said earlier, and I would say, talking to these two pilots, which I'm mentoring, they said the same thing. They said, this is an instrument panel. I think that's correct. We're not telling you exactly where to take a trade, but we are giving you Trade Guider and Master the Markets to show you where the high probability entry is based on low risk, which is what you're seeing right now. And then there is trading plans, and we're going to give you a more detailed one in the event that we're doing with Tiru. And let me just explain why we partnered up with Master the Markets over a few years ago, because I have been asked that question. Tiru seems to be very mathematical. I had one email saying, very mathematical, everything's quant, it's all this. I said, well, you can make it as complicated or simple as you like. This is simple to me. There's no demand in a downtrend with weakness in the background. That's that. I don't do all the quants. I don't do that. That's not what I do. But a lot of people do that. I'm fine with that. Turu is an expert at that. He comes from, say, a medical background, and he looks and Master the Markets. They're brilliant. They do a very good job. If you want to look at the past and say, well, that did that and that did that, absolutely fine. I think 90% of traders do that. They want confidence. But I believe, personally, having been a former policeman, I would love to have got into my police car in the morning and say, today, nothing's going to happen. But unfortunately, that's BS. Because everything happens. When you get in the car and you drive into Southampton or Croydon, where I worked, I lost a couple of police officers, people that were shot. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to happen. The markets are very similar. You're dealing in risk. And the risk is interesting because I've studied it. And my third book actually touches on it, Think, Link, Create. And ultimately, we as human beings are born with that intimate thing that says fight and flight. If you don't know what that means, you can go and study it on Google. This is going down, by the way. Again, it's going to go right to the target. Now, it's live. So I've got quite a few emails. I'm trying to answer some of them now, and then I'll go back to Turu and we can answer them together. But why do you trade live? Why do you look at live charts? Why? Most traders don't do it. It's very simple. You won't trust us or believe us unless we're showing you it live. And we're here to help. Number two, as a police officer, what was your worst experience? Says John on an email. I don't want to discuss it here. It's not something I want to discuss. And yes, it was. I've seen some stuff. Number three, why do you show live charts and not show PowerPoints? And that's a great question from Steve. And I said, well, we do use PowerPoints, but not very often. Right, now we've got an attempt to support. Now you can see the software telling us that. You see the lines have been drawn. Okay, you see the volume increasing. And I can see it on the other screen. And I've also got the SMI indicator saying there could be a change in behavior, but it's not happening yet. And that's why I say short. Because if it breaks that bottom line, this will completely collapse. And it's all alerted. It's like these two pilots said to me, they said, well, what you're getting is a scanner. Now I said, it's not a scanner. It's a multiple scanner. And so the questions came in and I'll answer them. You've got the SMI, you've got the VSA. How many charts can I scan? I said, there's no limitation in TradingView. There's none. You can do thousands if you've got the data feed, obviously. Can I get the data for free? Yes, in end of day mode, but I don't recommend that. Can you get the data for a small fee? Yes. And you have to go to tradingview.com and look at that price. Very inexpensive. I'm spending, well, I think it's 35, 40 bucks. It's not much. And that includes exchange fees. So you can do that. The third and maybe the fourth thing is why have you partnered with Master the Markets? Very straightforward. Okay, a great team backed up by Kyron and Glenn out in India, where I'm going to be visiting. I'm looking forward to having a curry with them at some point. And then that will happen, I suppose, very shortly. And then Turu. And I met Turu at a show. And we looked at charts together and we both came to the same conclusions. That the smart money indicator and VSA are totally complementary, which you can see, right? Live. You can see this. And I can put up other charts, but I'm short, I'm staying short, and I've moved my stop down now, just above this bar, okay, which I can, just there. It's right on the top. Now watch. And then Turu and I tell you about
what we're producing in the course, because this is new stuff. Okay, it's not stuff that we've done in the past. This is going to be some basics for those of you that are new. I mean, we've just had 180 people into the database in the last 2 days. We know there's a lot of interest because of these type of videos that we produce. Now, we'll get Tiru to cover the course, but as I'm still short, I want you to watch this because it's going to go. Going to collapse. Has to. Everything in the system, if you look at all the red thing here in the smaller time frame, the dots all confirming, the bars are all red. I don't see any strength. I see this bar here breaking the support line, and now we've got what I consider to be a serious sign of weakness, but I need to analyze, and I'm just going to stay with it for a few minutes before I hand back to Tiru and show you what the market will do. I love Tiru's analysis of the market's like a dance. It's a brilliant way of describing it. It doesn't always just a dance, you know, you go sideways, you flip up, you go down, or, you know, with Tiru, he's doing a break dance. I don't know. But the bottom line is the market doesn't just go in one direction straight away. But in this case, it is. And it's evident based on everything in the software, the elite version that I'm using. And I'm using TradingView simply because, and that's another question I'll cover, why not NinjaTrader? Why not MT5? It does work in those programs, but you can't use it on a tablet with VSA. So if you're out in the street and, you know, you want to try and log into NinjaTrader or MT5 and get VSA setups, it doesn't work. It's not, because it's an executable file for a PC or a laptop, and it doesn't work on Mac. This works on everything. So why wouldn't we work with this? Of course we are. They've got 200 million users. So of course we're doing it and we're supporting it. Now, when I go back to Tiru in a minute, he'll tell you what we're going to teach you in this live event. Now, the reason we're doing it in a live environment, and some of you just listening to this are going to be in America or Canada, I know, and Australia, I've talked to you. You're listening to it and you're saying, well, I don't want to fly over. Don't worry. We're going to broadcast it on a camera online. So you won't miss out. And it's 2 days. Okay. And it's going to be a lot of information. So if you're a quant and you really like statistics and all of that, Tiru's your man. If you like volume spread analysis, Tom Williams and what he taught and what we're seeing here, then I'm your man. And we may well have another guest speaker that I'm talking to at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see. But now what we see is very hot, and this is really important now, the news, and then we'll go to Bitcoin. Okay, so what happened today that is causing this move? Donald Trump met Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of England. Now, Tiru doesn't follow the news, nor do I, really. But I had to today because we're doing a seminar. And if you're not aware, and some people are not aware, Donald Trump arrived yesterday in the UK. I've never seen security like it. I've never seen so many police officers in Windsor, ever. Thousands. So clearly there's a threat there. But he was safe. And then today he met Keir Starmer at his country residence. And they talked and did a really good speech, actually. I've got to be honest. It was good, about the future of AI, which is why I've been focusing on NVIDIA. And a lot of the CEOs, including the NVIDIA CEO, were at that event in Chequers. Now, most of you will not know that information. you'll go, oh, but it's on Bloomberg. I'm sure it's been published in America. But what was discussed? Well, it's a very big deal for the future of artificial intelligence. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, that is coming. Now, is there an opportunity to invest in it? I've already done it. Is there an opportunity to, I've talked about NVIDIA. Okay, there's a lot of negativity about the Chinese doing this and America doing that. Trust your chart, as I'll show you. And I'll finish in a minute and hand over to Tiru. He'll tell you what we're going to talk about in Westminster. I know several of you in the room have signed up and you're coming live to the event. Can't wait to meet you. Keep in mind, if you can do it and you turn up, then you're going to meet a lot of great people. That's all I can say. And every event that I've done, and I think I look back on it now, and Laura, my wife, was saying, you've done over 100 of these. Yeah, I have. We've made not only good friends, some of them are investors in our business, but most importantly, they've become great traders. So I'm going to finish off before I hand back to Tiru, and we're going to go, this is doing exactly what it should do. Right, it's just squeezing and trying to find support. It's a 3-minute chart. But if I look at the 15-minute, just very quickly, we can see the gotcha bar. Now, I've been asked to explain that. I don't need to. It's in my book. It's a gotcha bar. It's taken out the support lines. It's a widespread down bar, and this will go up to the top, highly likely, and hit it on no demand, and then come back down. Anyway, that's something to look at. The NASDAQ, similar thing. Here's your SMI indicators. Confirmed. 1, 2, gotcha bar. Can't beat it. All right. NVIDIA, same thing. If we go over here and then look at what happened here, we've gone into the sellers that actually did on a 15-minute chart take some profit, and then it moves straight back into that area. And when the market opens, which it now is, we'll see what happens. And then Bitcoin, I'll finish on this. This is an interesting chart. And I'll tell you why, because you've got everything that's telling us why it's going to go up. Now, I moved back and I was like, okay, let me go to the daily to start with. And this was a subject of this event. Now, what we know is that Bitcoin had been in decline, but then it started to rally. Now it's now, I think, 117 there. And the VSA indicators in the background, we've got the test in a rising market. We've got the SMI indicator confirmed. And then we're now in a really good area. So how does that happen? How can everyone say, which I hear on the media, oh, cryptocurrency is rubbish. I can't trade it. It's too volatile. Do you know the people that are running that? You can guarantee it's Elon Musk and probably Donald Trump. And I can't say that for fact because I can't prove it. But what I can say is the chart doesn't lie. Everything in our system triggered buyers. Everything. In every time frame. And I can go to a 1-minute chart. I can do that. I mean, we could prove it. We could go to a really small time frame. Doesn't really matter because we're talking about Bitcoin, so we can go, I'll do the 3 minutes, my favorite. Okay, and we go back and we look and we see the markdown, which is what's happening now. And then you go to a small time frame. Like, oh, yeah, see, everything's green. Yeah, and it gyrates. Bitcoin is very volatile. Absolutely. And it has to be that way. And you can see what the software is telling me. It says it's now gone into a small downtrend, but it's not in a downtrend yet. It's doing the dance. That's what Tiru says. I love his analogy. So with that being said, I'm going to hand you back to Tiru and he can tell you about the event that we're doing. I've written my 3rd book and it's got me. In fact, I'm going to China and India, and if you go to www.amazon.com, and this is the easiest way to find it, and just type in Gavin, which is my first name, and then D Holmes. You've got to spell the name right, which I can't do, but anyway, there you go. And there is the book. And I'm just going to read something to you. So it's on Kindle and it's all of that. I'll just try that again. Sorry. So Gavin. There you go. That's the right one. Okay. And then you can click on this. And the publisher, and it's now in 386 stores, will, and they wrote this, I didn't write this, so it's just something I can share with you. Okay, and it's very important, in my opinion, anyway. Okay, good. All right, let's come back. So, Think, Link, Create. Harnessing and understanding the universal power laws to create your perfect life. Very relevant to trading. Embark on a transformative journey with Think, Link, Create, where Gavin D. Holmes unveils the universal power laws that shape our reality. Drawing from his remarkable experiences as a police officer, I wouldn't use remarkable personally, but anyway, entrepreneur and trading expert, Holmes presents an insightful guide on how thoughts and beliefs and actions influence personal success and fulfillment, which is absolutely spot on. Inspired by life-changing, well, actually two, near-death experiences and the teachings of legendary thinkers like Napoleon Hill, Wallace Wattles, and Dr. Bruce Lipton, she should have put in there. This book explores the profound impact of the law of attraction, the power of visualization and thought vibration, and emotional energy, which is what it does. Holmes masterfully combines real-life examples, scientific insights, and spiritual wisdom to help readers unlock their full potential. Whether you're seeking financial success, personal growth, or a deeper connection with the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, Think, Link, Create provides the practical strategies and mindset shifts needed to manifest your dreams. This book is a must-read for those who are ready to break negative thought patterns, embrace abundance, and harness the power of their mind. Discover how to think with clarity. Link your thoughts to action and create the life you've always desired. Now, Tura and I come from the same place, but from different spirituality, but we definitely come from the same place. And so in one of the two of the presentations that we're going to do in London, I'm going to discuss this book because it's sold a lot of copies, and I'm not going to discuss how many because people don't believe me. I'm just going to bring my royalty check with me and buy you dinner. But the bottom line is, I went through two life-changing experiences, meaning that I nearly lost my life. And to discuss that publicly can be very difficult. And I'm going to show how I improved everything to make a lot of money, but money isn't. Tell you what, money is irrelevant, and I know we're traders, but the late Steve Jobs, who passed away, I think he was 56 or 53, I can't remember exactly. I quote him in the book. He had all the money in the world. He had he did everything. But you can't take away an illness from someone who's got it. That, money doesn't buy, health. You think it does, it actually doesn't. So my final words before I hand over to Tiru, who will tell you about what we're going to teach, are these. Number one, believe in yourself. You have the power. In fact, it's provable that the electricity that runs through your body could power a small village. If you don't believe it, go and check it on the internet. It's true. Number two, you think, link, and create. What does that mean? You manifest what you are. Number three, you want to be a good trader, got to have discipline, timing, and a structure. Now, you might like Tiru's structure, you might like my structure, but you put the two together, they seem to work. Well, I've seen it. Tiru's seen it. That's why we've been working together for years. Because we know it works. And number four, and this is the most important part, is cut your losses quickly and let your winners run. And that's what Tiru is very good at with his quants. And I believe they work particularly well. And then number five, which is what we're going to show you. Number five is get a dog that, get a dog that understands when they're, I think that, get a dog that understands when an up thrust has appeared in gold. and teach it to trade. But no, it's brilliant. We're going to have a great show in Westminster. If you can't attend live, Tiru will tell you what we're going to cover. It's a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, Gavin, let me just go through that.
I'm going to hand back to you now because the dogs are going nuts because there's a fox in the garden. So
yeah, no problems. I'll just share the screen in the moment, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to stop the share. Go. It's all yours.
Yeah, just to recap, I know we're running out of time at the moment. Just to recap on what we've covered so far, you did take a look at gold. This was our 2 target points. However, on the Telegram channel, traders, we didn't actually get our entry levels being filled, okay? Whereas for Gavin, I think he entered much more earlier. Nice ride over here, and he did say about a support level over here. But before, if you want to check the recording and the replay, we did mention about one entry level being here, the potential buying when it takes out the low. And then for those of you guys who've understood the smart money indicator and the VSA principles, you would have entered it at the break of this structure over here, okay? So let me just show you that one down on the SMI LAOE. You can see that was the bottom, there's a neckline that broke, and then there was trend change, okay? That is the timing part. Those of you who were in the markets, watching the markets much more earlier, okay? And that would have been a nice ride as the VSA dots also turned red, okay? Now, in terms of the targets, even after we came in, these were the 2 targets that we looked at. One was 3641 and 3634. Both have been hit. Those of you who've been riding the move along with SMI and VSA principles, well done to you guys, okay? The main thing that was really going on for gold was the ratio for today's bar that was going on. In terms of trend perspective, it was a bit 2 against 2, wasn't it? The lower time frames was the ones that won in the end, okay? All right, so those are the principles I want you all to take away. In terms of Bitcoin, now Bitcoin hitting 115, what's actually going on in Bitcoin, just to give you guys an idea. Let me just put this in candlesticks at the moment. Let me just run through that. So Bitcoin, for those of you listening in for the first time, most of you should know by now, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, right? And those of you can go and research into what Bitcoin is. Now, where is it heading? Now, in the beginning, a lot of people said that Bitcoin is a scam. It will go to zero, but look at it. It's the only asset class that I've seen that has gone up to $115,000 in such a short span of time. Name me any other stock or name me any other asset class that has done that in such a short period of time. It's almost unbelievable, right? So over here, where is it going next? And what are the next things we need to look at after the Fed rate cut? Let me take a look on the weekly and on the monthly time frames. On the weekly, just to get an overview, that's in a downtrend phase 1 at the moment, right? But however, on the monthly, this is still in an uptrend phase 1, okay? A bit of a swing stretch, but on the monthly, usually it will stand true. This was this last test over here, and then after that, it is consolidating at the moment. Next level to take out would be this high over here, which is exactly at about 124,533, okay? Some levels that we can take a look at to consider entry on this for a shorter term position. See if this bottom is supported and we go lower on a daily time frame. This is why the smart money framework and the volume spread analysis really helps us, because it guides us by giving us additional confirmation. That's why both frameworks, the price and volume, and put together is very powerful. One place that we are taking a look at for further price strength and change of behavior would be one for this high to be taken out, which is at 124,000 at the moment, right? Which is the same as the weekly one. Another one that you can take a look at in terms of the 4 hour, let me take a look at that. As it populates this, your trigger lines are being drawn over here. And let me take a look at our highs and lows here as well on the smart money indicator. I believe we will get something around in this place here. Let me just see as it populates that. And now there we go. So we can see that that was the high. That's a good place to get in. 116810, roughly about right now. If you want to run a smaller position on it, and you would stand with that strong as it takes out this high over here, okay? That's a smaller position that you can run. Ideally, you wanted to take it on a trend change over here on a lower time frame when this dot came up, okay, to see if there's a trend change structure. Now, how do you actually do all of this in a more specified way? I'm going to be telling you very soon in the annual summit what we're going to be covering, and that will make more sense. But before I come on to that, so these are the things I would look at for Bitcoin. So it's still looking very strong, especially on the higher time frames, especially on the monthly and on the weekly. The level to really look at, I would say, is both of these levels. Okay, one is this one here, 124. Let's see if it breaks that, and the next one is if it does go to the downside, it will be 107,000 to break that neckline. Okay, that's what we are having at the moment on Bitcoin. Okay, so these two levels you can take a look at, and you can use it accordingly in your strategy. That's on Bitcoin. Now, in terms of the other things, you can see that the Fed rate, right? Yesterday, what happened in the Fed rate cuts? They did cut it down. A lot of it had been priced into the market before. We talked about this in the last Wednesday live trading session. So this is why a lot of people on that day of the news, when they thought that, hey, they've cut the rates already, now let me short it. Now, those of you who have been shorting it, or those of the crowd which don't understand this, right? And if you had just shorted it on the news, you would have got a rude shock, isn't it? Because today, when you take a look at the dollar yen or any other dollar pair, you can see what happened, right? Because it did go down, but then it reversed aggressively against you. And today it's gone even more higher. So then you may ask yourself, hey, you know what? The Fed did cut the rates, but why isn't the currency going further down, okay? Or even the other equities or stocks, why they're not doing the, especially in equities, when the Fed rate cuts, the equity should go up more higher, but why is that not happening? So all these questions might pop up in your mind, because one of the things we talked about is that it might have been factored in already in the beginning, right, before the Fed rate even happened, because people were already predicting that there's definitely going to be a Fed rate cut. And that's what they did by 0.25 basis points, from 4.25 to 4 basis points. The other thing is that you always take a look at both price and volume to match. Don't just follow the news just blindly, traders, right? So in terms of here, when you take a look at price and volume together, you can see that you could have got value on shorting this even further. Okay, so yesterday one of the positions that we did have was on cable, right? And we had a target for 3750, 3747. Okay, the trade came very close to it and then reversed against us. Today we trailed it, right, according to our rules. And today, as the price action fell even more further and deeper, we are out of that and we got our locked in profits. Okay, so that's how you do it based on price action and volume. Let the price guide you rather than just following blindly on news. News is like the fuel, okay, but price action and volume, when read correctly, will tell you the direction to take it. And when that married up together, it gives you a good right to take and for your equity curve to go to the next new level. All right, so that's that one there over there, traders. So now in terms of, I've covered that in terms of the Bitcoin and what's next. So we can see that there's some of a direction change over here. So I would actually think that what's actually the market is thinking that the 0.25 is not the best rate cut. Actually, it should have been much more bigger for the market to actually, for the economy actually to get better and recover further. So in terms of this, they're seeing this as a bad, slow news, right? A slow recovery. And that is why you're seeing the dollar bouncing up when it should be actually going further down, and the equity should be up, going further higher, okay? But we'll wait and see how that carries on. That's how the news and the markets are reacting at the moment. So that's something for you guys to see. But rather than jumping in on the trades, I would say take a look at the technical levels and the direction going forward, okay? So that's one over there. The other thing, what I will also tell is that in terms of the annual summit, what are we going to be covering over there? Now, in terms of the annual summit, before that, just those of you who asked me, 7 steps to CTP is one of the first things. Definitely watch that, and then you get the 7 videos over to your inbox. After you put in your contact details, you can get that all over to your inbox. Okay. Now, after that, you can also see SMI and VSA as well. You can see that over here, you can get the indicators both onto your charts over here. And just like how we married it up to get the gold trade over here on the 2 targets around there. You can take a look at that as well on the SMI VSA page. The other thing is our YouTube channel on Master of the Markets and Trade Guide, youtube.com/Master of the Markets. After you subscribe, hit the all bell icon, and then you can get the notifications when we go live. Same thing on Trade Guide channel as well. Now, a quick shout out to Trade Nation, who will be also supporting us so far on the Telegram signals that you are getting. And in terms of the summit, now coming to the summit, what are we going to be covering over here? One of the things we're going to be covering, traders, is this 95% probability strategy. Okay, now what is that? And we're going to be sharing some research updates with you. Now, when you use both the stats and the volume together, that's when the magic happens. You've seen that so many times in real time. What we're going to be showing you is a particular kind of a probability study that we have done, that when you analyze a bar, right, we will know how much it will move up further from the range and at a high probability of about 90% and above, okay, 90 to 95% above. So we'll be covering that and where and how you should come out as well, which point, okay, that's a very high frequency trade that you can take a look at, and we'll show you also how to tailor it according to your time and lifestyle that you may have, okay. So one is a 90 to 95% probability strategy. We will actually give you 2 of them that you can take a look at based on some research study that we've done. The other thing that we're going through, which we covered in the last annual summit as well, is the ripple swell wave principle, okay? Because all these bottoms and these tops that you're seeing over here, right? So, for example, on cable over here, you see this bottom over here, that got confirmed there, right? On the daily chart, that bottom was once a 5-minute bottom, a ripple, right? That then became a 15-minute bottom, which then held on to become a 1 hour, then a 4 hour, then a daily bottom. Now imagine if you're able to select that 5-minute bottom, which is going to become that daily bottom. Imagine how much open equity you can ride with such a small risk as well. So we're going to be covering that as well in the annual summit. And then the third thing that we're going to be covering is interruptions and continuation patterns, okay, in a swing. So we're going to go deeper into a swing, right? So when you take a look on cycles and swings, so this is just swing over there, we're going to be going deeper into the swing or to the details of what those bars do and the interruptions inside them, and whether they're going to continue or not, and how to take a trade based on them as well. For example, over here, on the seller bar here, you're going to ask yourself over here on cable, is it going to carry on with its swing after these seller bars or these interruptions and take out that high and go up more further? The same thing is happening here on gold as well. If you take a look on the daily time frame, right, on top of all of this, these interruptions that you had over here, it still did take out the high, you see, and carried on further for a little bit. So how far will it go? And then at which interruption is a good one to ride it even more further? We're going to be covering that as well in the annual summit. So quite a lot we'll be covering, traders, over here on the annual summit over here. So three things we'll be covering. One is a 1995% probability strategy based on a certain price action bars. And then the RSW strategy as well, based on how to find that bottom on a lower time frame that will become a higher time frame bottom, and write the open equity, and finally interruption and continuation patterns as well. Okay, it's quite a lot over there. And on top of that, you know that that's going to happen in this beautiful place in Westminster, London. And also we are going to have lunch on both days and also the dinner on the first evening. On top of that, we're going to be doing some live trading as well on the first day.
Yeah, Teru, and apparently you're cooking the lunches and the dinners.
Definitely not.
What is your menu? You're like, I've been watching MasterChef on television, and I think you'd be perfect for that. So,
you know what? I think the audience can be rest assured that we'll get the lunch from outside and cater. Yes.
What, you mean McDonald's?
It will all be sponsored in by the hotel, and nice, beautiful lunches and a nice dinner as well, Gavin, with you and me.
Oh, okay, Burger King. That's fine.
I think that's pretty much that for today, Gavin. Anything last to add before we wrap
Well,
up?
yeah, I mean, my gold trades, I've done a great trade on that, and you can see that it's done exactly what it should do. These are the type of things that you want to see. Doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at, you can see why it's falling. And everything in TradeGuide and the TradingView platform, which I'm using, which is in the elite version. We're going to do a promo on that later. And we'll include something if you want to. I do encourage anyone that's anywhere near London or in the UK, if you can get to the event, we're going to do a lot of stuff there that we haven't, and we're not going to show it all publicly, of course we're not, but some of it, you know, it is done in private. But I just want you to put up for me a 1 minute chart of gold. All right, just put that up, and
Yeah,
got the VSA
very
stuff
brief,
all over
I think.
just
yeah,
put a 1 minute up.
yeah, because you're running past time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We'll just take a quick look at this. Anyway, we'll be covering this more in the summit as we do the live trading anyway.
Yeah, you see the up thrust in the background there? There should be one in the. Oh yeah, it's got your indicator right on the top of it. Right, so you've got your P. No,
This one.
That's the one. Yeah, P1, and it's an up thrust in in weakness, and that's why it's falling. That's going to go through the toilet right now. If we had more time, we could watch it, but at least we'll prove live how this works. Watch what's happening.
You know what? What we'll do is we'll update it through the email.
Yes, you send the alert out. That's already gone. I mean, I've stayed short. So now if it breaks the low, which it will, I guarantee that, it will take out the low and we're gone. Yeah.
I think this is the thing they've got to understand. These principles will keep repeating themselves again and again. And of course, Gavin will be going through this much more in depth on the live trading sessions in the annual summit. So we'll see you guys over there. I know you'll run a bit above time. Most of the questions we have checked, I think we have answered most of them in terms of Bitcoin and the levels, and in terms of what is happening after the Fed rate. I think with that said, I think we'll bring this to a wrap, actually. And as we always say, traders, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Take care and bye for now.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye.